Gamer's Garage.
I'm a level 43 stripper.
Can't stop the train, baby. Woo!
Welcome to the 21st round of VV Gaming's The Losers Bracket, hosted by the Gamers Garage. Got a really exciting show for you today. We've got tons of E3 coverage that we're going to go over. The Microsoft keynote, Nintendo keynote, Sony keynote, what was shown, what are we looking out for in the future, any impact on competitive gaming, and then the major LAN event that's happening this week, Devastation in Phoenix, Arizona. But to kick it off, let's jump right into the Microsoft keynote at E3.
I was all about the Gears of War 3, Halo Reach. I thought that was fantastic. But this Kinect thing, that's got a lot of people all hyped up. I don't know if I'm quite as sold as everybody else, but what did you guys think?
Well, first of all, the Wii did this 4 years ago, to some extent. I mean, every game they showed, except the Star Wars thing, has been done by Nintendo in pretty much every way, shape, and form. Not saying that it's bad, but it's sort of like a rehash of it. And I can see where they're going with it. They're trying to appeal to the casual gamer because Nintendo has obviously been very successful with that. But it's not anything new. I mean, they have the Kinectimals or whatever, the animal thing, and Nintendo had Nintendogs for the DS and the Wii. They've had the party games for, who knows how long. For the most part, they're just trying to play catch-up, really. They're just sort of trying to do what's been done already, trying to get money out of it. I don't really see it very, appealing.
Well, I mean, I understand your point there, but I do think Kinect is kind of taking it to the next level. And I do think they are moving a little bit away from what the Wii did as opposed to like PlayStation Move, which we'll get to that later on in the show, oh boy. But I do think Kinect at least is bringing a complete new dimension to it with, things like being able to webcam with people, show people videos and watch them at the same time. The fact that there is no controller whatsoever, it's opening up a couple extra possibilities that the Wii couldn't have done. This is really neat new technology. If developers take advantage of what is available to them, then we could see some really cool games coming out here in the future for Kinect.
I'm definitely excited for this. It looked like to me that developers knew what they were doing. It looks like, because I didn't see many problems with it. The only problem I noticed was the fitness thing where the lady had two different heights. One was like 5'9" and one was 5'6". But other than that, I mean, what really caught my eye with this was Dance Central. I played some of the other games like Just Dance for Wii and stuff like that, and I don't want to have to sit there and hold a controller if I'm going to play these games. I think being able to completely get rid of the controller idea and then just stand in front of it and then use your motions and your body to control the game, I thought that was incredible. I can't wait for this thing to come out.
As far as actually playing games, I don't think it has a lot of value. But in social interaction, I think it has a huge amount of value. I think there's something about not having a controller. If you can imagine, put yourself in the position of using your body to basically be the controller and use voice-activated commands and then do that video chat with the motion menus. I mean, one part of me was really sort of humorously cynical, thinking about adults and, the same thing with Gamers Crush. It can bring Gamers Crush to a whole new level when you're going to play dirty or flirty.
Red light for the console.
I know, right? I think they're well aware of that, too. But you know what else was really interesting? I don't know if you guys caught this, but it was near the end, before they did that demo for the motion camera. Do you notice that they said that ESPN now has an exclusive deal with Xbox to show all manner of sports through the network?
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I saw that. And it was funny because somebody said that when they showed that, like, ESPN left MLG for Xbox. And I thought that was pretty funny because I don't know if that's what happened, but that's what it looks like.
I think that's insulting to Microsoft to even put MLG and Microsoft on the same page. One is a multi-billion-dollar company that some people like myself have stock in. The other one is $42.5 million in the hole, and their fucking new CEO wears red shoes. I mean, come on, that's on the same page.
Red shoes are nice.
I think for this is going to end up hurting cable companies in a way because, they have all these sports packages. I think now with Xbox being able to show all these games, I think it's going to bring more profit to Microsoft for the Xboxes because, I mean, there are games that you can watch now that you can barely watch on TV nowadays. So I think this is going to be a great idea.
Well, let's not give Microsoft the center stage. Let's Let's just get Sony out of the way, seriously, because to be honest,
Oh, God.
Ridge Racer!
I mean, what? Twisted Metal? You guys tell me. I don't know what excited you. Nothing for me. I got not much to say on Sony.
When it comes to Sony's presentation, honestly, I felt like it was just advertisement after advertisement, too many montages. I mean, there was one small clip of a game that I don't even know if a lot of people would have caught what it was, but there's an old RPG series called Parasite Eve. They have a new game coming out, Parasite Eve 3. It was called The Third Birthday. They showed a little bit of that for the PSP. That made me pretty excited. But otherwise, Twisted Metal, yeah, that seemed kind of cool. But some of the graphics were kind of glitchy, it looked like on the I don't know if it was just, early renderings, things like that, but there was one shot of a helicopter shooting a house and the house disappeared. Like, instead of even blowing up, there was no graphic. It just went away. That kind of killed it for me. Everything else is just montages of games that we've already known about. How many times have they shown Gran Turismo 5 now? Like 5? It's ridiculous.
They finally got a release date, though.
Very true.
Just to throw this in there, though, if you look at it, I think like their entire game lineup, but it was like Dead Space 2, Madden 11, NBK 11, Tiger Woods 11. Nothing at all to me new. I really was not impressed, as I said earlier. Gran Turismo's not coming out until November, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, about there. But they don't even have many exclusives either. I mean, one of the big things was Portal 2, and we all knew that was coming out for the Xbox. And everybody was like, oh, Portal 2, but we already knew that. Not only do we already know that it was coming out, but we already knew it was coming out for another console. They don't have a lot of exclusives anymore.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot to show.
I agree.
I was awfully disappointed with this. These guys are definitely all talk and not enough show. And they wonder why their sales are so bad. They talked about the PS2, but in the show, they did nothing for it. Nothing new, and yet their sales are so high, supposedly. On top of that, like, they have all these major games coming out, like Gran Turismo 5, Final Fantasy 14, which is going to be huge, and yet they're sitting there spending like 30 minutes showing off this game, Sorcerer or whatever it is for the Move. Like, I don't want to know about this piece of crap little game that they're making. I want to know more about this MMORPG that's going to be hitting shelves this year that's going to be freaking huge. I don't want to know about some little piece of crap game.
As I alluded to earlier, I have to admit, while I'm excited about Kinect, PlayStation Move, their version of motion-controlled gaming, it feels like that really hasn't done anything new. They're touting it as one-to-one game interaction. But isn't that kind of what we did with Wii Motion Plus, what they just brought out? I don't really see it bringing anything new to the table. Whereas Kinect, controller-free, yeah, I can see where that's doing something that's bringing a new element to the genre. With PlayStation Move, I feel like they're just trying to capitalize on the success of the Wii and then throw in a little bit of 3D gaming on top of that, where you have to wear the goofy glasses. It seems silly and redundant.
Yeah, if anybody out there, because I've heard a lot of Sony, I don't even know if Sony has fanboys anymore, but at least ex-fanboys that would love to be Sony fanboys again, they sort of are like, had always said that, well, the PlayStation's coming along. I don't see it. I think the friggin', what is it now, the Move? I think that looks like, let's face facts, looks like a dildo. The thing is ridiculous looking. At the end of the day, I see no good. Europe gets it like 4 days before we do. Like, no offense to Sony, but, go screw yourself. I had even once thought, well, maybe, because a couple fighting games, maybe I would get PlayStation 3. E3 actually talked me out of it. I was like, no, forget it. It's really not worth it. Yeah. So are we done with this dead horse? Do we still have to beat Sony? Because we have
to beat it with the Move.
I still got stuff.
Use it as a stick.
And I think the only thing that I thought was interesting was, the way Tiger Woods functioned. But the thing is, like, this looks exactly like the Wii. It's the Wii all over again. Like, it has.
A lot of women are interested in how Tiger Woods functions too.
Zing!
Yeah. Well, this controller has it's exactly like the Wii. I mean, you have this little controller and it's got this little glowing ball at the top, whatever the hell that is. And then you have this little what looks to be like the nunchuck, pretty much. So it's the same exact.
But it has buttons. It has buttons. Oh God!
I think it's just ribbed for her pleasure. I think that's exactly what those. I like I said, the thing looks ridiculous to me.
Ribbed for her pleasure. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Overall, I think the Kinect will win. I don't want to have to deal with a Wii controller all over again for PlayStation. I'd rather just be controller free, just like Xbox is trying to promote. I think that's why they'll end up winning.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really do. So, not to say I saved the best for last, but I think we can all kind of agree, I thought Nintendo came with a lot of stuff that showed a pretty big coming back to their roots almost, really hitting a lot of their popular, but I'll let you guys tackle what you think.
Nintendo did this perfectly, right? They started off a little shaky. The Zelda demo obviously didn't work as well. And I personally wasn't as enthused about it because I was expecting more of an epic rather than like a Ocarina of Time sort of game. But then they just hit it out of the park. They're going back to the big franchises, Donkey Kong, Kirby. They brought back Kid Icarus. They're hinting at a new Star Fox game. They're doing everything perfectly. I mean, the past few years, Nintendo really let us down with a lot of the conferences. One of the big things they did was they sort of trimmed down on the fluff. Every year they sort of go, all right, well, here's all the numbers, and this is how well we've been doing, and you guys all know that, but we're going to tell you anyway. They took maybe 10 minutes of that, and that's just Reggie, being awesome. That's just what he does. And then they just go all the way to these really amazing games. They got Golden Sun coming back, which is really awesome. Back to Donkey Kong Country from Retro Studios, who made the Metroid Prime series for the GameCube and Wii. They did an amazing job there. And then they wrap it all up with the 3DS, which is looking amazing. And they're redefining almost everything they do. You have 3D gaming now with glasses. They're not even using glasses. They're just showcasing really how just innovative the company is and making it gaming really fun. And then, of course, we have GoldenEye, which is awesome. I'm really, really excited for GoldenEye.
Well, I think Nintendo hit all the stops on this one. Over the past few years, they've had some sketchy runs with E3. They had some pretty bad titles before that they were showing off. But now I think they brought everything they had. They brought the new Zelda, which I'm looking forward to. They went back to Donkey Kong Country. Kirby, that game looks amazing already. And then you have GoldenEye, that's going to be insane. I'm going to be at GameStop the night that comes out getting that. On top of that, you have 3DS. That's just insane. You can take 3D pictures and watch 3D movies on the DS now. That's going to be ridiculous. And then on top of that, they ran out of time. They didn't even have enough time for all the games. They could have shown off the new Final Fantasy for 3DS and along with some others. If Metal Gear is bringing a game to DS like that, it's going to be big. That there's something there that sparks their interest. And I think this is going to be an amazing console or handheld when it comes out.
Yeah, I totally agree. They've brought so many of their old franchises back to life, reinvigorating them, doing a couple really amazing remakes as well for the 3DS. Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64. As Justin said, Metal Gear Solid 3 is getting a remake on the 3DS. Being able to take 3D pictures with the two front-facing cameras that's on there, what an innovative concept to be able to do that with a handheld console. You could see it getting a lot of use. I have to admit, I think Nintendo blew the other two out of the water this E3.
I agree with you. Nintendo's normally absolutely garbage. I mean, to be honest, I think you're right, Rapture. When you listen to Nintendo ramble, it's usually nothing interesting. And if you think about it, when you look at the Wii Motion Plus, and it's going to have the one-to-one motion sensing, which is going to be, on par with the PlayStation Move. I just saw PlayStation having no moves at all, and I said, if I was to get another console, the Wii would definitely be the one. And that's not including the Nintendo 3DS, which I think is also a phenomenal idea. Almost like, of course, this is what they were going to do. Outside of what, like you said, Rapture, them blaming the Wi-Fi interference for the reason that Shigeru couldn't play The Legend of Zelda. Everybody said that, when it came out to looking at the game on the actual conference show floor, everybody said that, Skyward Sword looked really, really good. So
this is the first time Nintendo has ever convinced me to spend more money on Nintendo products rather than any other console for the holiday season.
That's a really good point. I think that's something, you hit on something really important, Justin. I think a lot of people underestimate that this is what starts to whet the appetite. And when you look at what people are going to be paying attention to, it's certainly not going to be a release on the Sony PlayStation 3. People are going to be looking at the Nintendo. I think most everybody is on the Xbox as it is now. And to be honest, I think with enough of what's happening on the Nintendo, I wouldn't be surprised if this Christmas Nintendo doesn't lead the sales with a lot of people deciding it's time for another console. I want something new. I think what's going to happen is that middle ground that may have been very upset with the Xbox for its, red rings and all the problems, I think they're just going to slide over and they're going to say, you know what, if I'm getting something, I'm going to get a Nintendo.
Yeah, and you make that point very well. Most of that is because Nintendo did a fan service here. The past few years, they've been going, sort of wishy-washy with the casual market, the hardcore market. Right here, they appeased everybody. They have games for everybody here, and it's a great fan service, not only for casual gamers, but for hardcore gamers, but also new and older gamers. They're reviving great franchises. And then, just like Justin said, when, they didn't have enough time for the conference to have all the games, they start with, announcing all these games. Paper Mario for the 3DS, Mario Kart for for the 3DS. All these new remakes that we didn't get to see in the conference. They're doing a huge fan service here, and I think they're leading up to something big.
Real quick, and if Nintendo's smart, I know I can guarantee you what my niece and nephew are going to want this Christmas. It's going to be that 3DS. That's what they're going to want. That's how they game. That's what they do when they come home, when they're riding on the bus, when they're in the car. This is their way to game. And if Nintendo's smart, it's got so many opportunities for holiday bundles with what they have coming out that they're going to give all the major retailers, Toys R Us, GameStop, so many great options. If you don't own a Nintendo Wii, or you're not sure if you want to start exploring the Nintendo line of products, after E3 I said, you know what, I've had hesitations about Nintendo in the past, but Brawl got my attention again, and then E3 sort of just, if you don't own a Wii, now's the time to do it, I think. With it being Thursday, the 17th, tonight, 9:01 Eastern Time, 6:01 Pacific Time, OnLive gets turned on. So that'll be about 8:01 my time. So you know what I'm going to be doing is keeping my fingers crossed that they launch on time. For those of you that don't know what OnLive is basically a form of cloud-based gaming. Cloud-based gaming is gaming that is all server-side. So you really don't download anything to your hard drive. You don't have any disks or anything on your console. A lot of people were concerned that this would be limited by internet access, and it is. But with Comcast going to 100 megabyte down in some places, I currently have 35 down, 10 up. I'm looking forward to see what it does. The first year, so all of you know, the first year of OnLive is free. You have to rent the games or purchase the games, but the actual service itself is free. And they have this founding member club that people can be a part of. So I recommend that everybody, if you get an opportunity, jump in and get involved. Because I think OnLive might be part of the reason we see a lot of the consoles moving into spaces like motion controller, Kinect with no controller, because I think this is going to be a very serious threat to retailers. And when we look at the opening lineup of games that this comes with, Batman, Borderlands, Dirt 2, Dragon Age Origins, the Harry Potter Lego, Mass Effect 2, it sounds to me like they're opening with a really good, strong set of games. And to see Borderlands on there and NBA 2K10, that kind of shows me that they're not really worried about lag. So you can pretty much guarantee I'm probably going to be getting Borderlands. I actually have Borderlands and played it on the Steam network for the PC. If there's no lag in Borderlands and it runs similar, then this is going to be off to a pretty huge start.
I'm really interested. I don't know too much about it except for what they said on the site. I'm really interested, like, going in, first few moments this is supposed to open up and seeing everything they have to offer. They have a great lineup of games that are going to be starting at the launch. This kind of looks like, to me, it's kind of like the Netflix of gaming. I think this could really, hurt consoles and stuff in the future if done right. Netflix had a smart idea and they did it right, and they're starting to run blockbusters and stuff out of business. I think with something like this, I think this could really benefit all gamers. You can just have one service and just play everything and not have to worry about going to the store and finding out the store is sold out of the game or finding it somewhere. I think this is going to be an awesome idea, and I can't wait to get my hands on it.
I like OnLive in terms of what it can do and how long it's been in the works for, and I think it's a really cool idea. I just don't think it'll be the console killer that many people are saying that it will be. Mostly that's just because it doesn't have that physical feel. You don't have the console, you don't have the disc. A lot of gamers like that. And a lot of these games that I've been seeing are third-party. They're not those first-party games that a lot of people look for. That's not Gears of War, it's not Halo, it's not Mario. If we see those games, then maybe it could have an effect. But a lot of those companies aren't going to give those up. And I'm sure we can play Prince of Persia or NBA 2K10 on Live, but if we already have it for our console, why would you do that? I almost see it as redundant in sort of way, because a lot of people already have these games. Unless they start getting exclusives or they get them early or something like that, I don't see it really being a huge console killer, but it'll still be a pretty cool idea.
Well, to add to that, though, I think they're doing something really smart with the marketing, which really makes me feel like they're thinking long term. It's free for the founding member program, so the first year is free. I get a free game, and then it looks like the second year monthly subscription rate is only going to be $4.95. And that's what they announced today at E3. When I look at the list of titles, I start to think to myself, this could be something that very much long term is going to be important, because people will not be required to upgrade their PC to play the latest games. And that could be a huge, huge development. Personally, I'm very curious to see if at the end of the day it's going to be really a success. And they also have this massive spectating mode, which allows a lot of people to spectate one person at once. I really would be curious to see if that's going to help build community, if that's going to help coaching, things like that. So those are going to be some of the things I'm going to be checking out.
If you have to travel somewhere and you can't bring, like, say, an Xbox or whatever with you, and you want to, say you're going to, like, an uncle's house across the country or something like that, and they have access to a computer, being able to play those games still through this is a great idea, because I travel a lot because of MLG and stuff, and I don't want to have to bring my Xbox everywhere to play certain games. So if I can just have access to it from, like, any computer just to sign on to my account and play, I think that's an awesome idea.
That is a really, really good point. I think you're right. I think that's another group that they probably target are people who travel a lot, businessmen. Everybody games nowadays. Being able to do it from any computer is a pretty huge advantage. Another really cool thing announced at E3, I thought, was Steelseries releasing their 360 product line, the Steelseries Spectrum, the 5XP and the 4XP, and that's going to come with a mix amp. I can't talk too much about it because I know too much about it. I'll obviously be at the Steelseries headquarters on June 22nd, doing a lot of the, conversation and stuff like that there. We'll keep people posted as we can. It's supposed to be available Q3 2010. I think the prices are going to come out soon, but like I said, they're opening with 2 headsets. The 5XB, which is their premium quality one, it's going to be wired. It'll have the nice, comfortable cushions, but the extra large size, which is really nice. And they've got retractable unidirectional microphone, which I really like about SteelSeries. It's a unidirectional, so it doesn't pick up all the background noise, which makes, it perfect for when you play music or other things like that while you game. And they have the SteelSeries Spectrum 4XB, which is going to be a lighter weight unit, but obviously it's also going to be optimized soundscape for gaming.
Yeah, what's really cool is not only the specs on the product, but the actual look as well. I really like the way that these products look. I would love to wear one of these to an event. It's not really the big, bulky, clunky, gaudy-looking headphones that we've seen. I really like the direction SteelSeries is going here. The Spectrum looks great.
I agree. The 5XB, the black one, that's my personal favorite.
I'm really looking forward to this. I've been using Astros for a while now, and I was actually just given a new pair, and they're both broken, damn it. I want a pair of headphones that will work.
I'm trying to think of, Astro is like one of those things that, I'm trying to think of what car is about as poorly designed as Astro's like the Pinto, or I'm trying to think of what, fix or repair daily. It's just a terrible, terrible car.
I had these for 72 hours, and they broke. That's horrible. And then, I'm trying to get a hold of them for support, and they won't even help me. They won't even respond to me. I'd much rather, honestly, end up switching over to SteelSeries in the long run. I just want a pair so bad right now.
So does Astro stand for always something that's really off?
Ooh,
yeah.
I like that. Always something that's really off. That's really good. We might have to use that in a graphic.
By the time you guys are hearing this, I'll actually be in Phoenix, Arizona for the Devastation event 2010. Really excited. Jedi Rob has done a wonderful job setting this event up. Please check out the event this coming weekend. Go to www.devastationevent.com. Amazing live stream that they're going to be doing over the entire weekend. There's going to be Guitar Hero, DJ Hero, Halo 3, Modern Warfare 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Super Street Fighter 4, the list goes on.
So, Jason, who is attending from VVV Gaming and spending their hard-earned dollars on the event in Phoenix?
Geez, we got a long list. Almost the entire Rhythm division. We've got a ton of players coming out. Top 2 DJ Hero players, VVV Master Ball or VVV M-Dog are going to be there. Some of the brawlers are going to be there. Got Mike Hayes, Havoc, and Mewtwo King coming out. We've also got a ton of the Guitar Hero players coming out. Brock, Smokey Prog, and of course myself. We're going to be having a great time. I really hope you get to tune in, cheer us on. This might sound a little confident, maybe possibly even borderline cocky, but expect our Rhythm division to sweep DJ Hero and Guitar Hero. We're going to kick some ass this weekend.
I just want to wish you and everybody else that's attending a really safe trip and have a lot of fun and take a lot of pictures and say hi to Sir Scootster. Tell him I said hi.
Well, no worries. I'll be definitely going around saying hi to everybody. Next week on the show, I will have a full recap of the entire event, and I'm really looking forward to sharing details with everybody.
Rapture, you were at an event this weekend. You want to talk about VGC?
Me and VVV Freedom attended the Pokemon Video Game Championships Northeast qualifier at the Meadowlands Expo Center. I placed top 32 out of 768 players. One round away from an invite to nationals, but shit happens. And
768.
Yeah, there were 768 in my division. That's the cap. They actually had to turn people away. Plus 300 for the junior division, which is 13 and under. There were about 1,500 people that showed up. A lot of them had to get turned away in terms of competing.
Holy cow! That's like the entire Tylo Halo section of an MLG event.
Yeah, the line to get in, which inadvertently, actually, me and Freedom actually cut the line trying to get in on registration. We didn't know. We just walked in and took a spot on a line. The line actually extended through 2 parking garages that circles, the Meadowlands Expo Center, and continued that way. When I left after finishing my top 32 match, people were still online trying to get in just to spectate. It was a ton of fun. It was probably one of the best tournaments I've ever been to. They run it so well. They have free stuff there. It's a great community, and I was really glad. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't do as well as I thought I would, but top 32 out of that many people is still very good. But we had an amazing time. It was really an awesome day.
Jeez, I think MLG should look into Pokemon if that's the case. Holy crap.
Well, I'm more interested in the fact, did you guys have a place to sit down?
The floor.
All right, so you are just like an MLG event.
Yeah. I mean, online, obviously, they can't put chairs everywhere. People are moving online. How they do the stations are actually low to the ground. So when you sit, they're actually at, chest level. So it's actually sort of convenient. It's not like where you're sitting down, you have to look up at a screen or something like that. They did have a finalist lounge, though, for the top 64, which had very comfy beanbag chairs, actually. That's sort of sectioned off if you get that far. And the later rounds did have chairs, though, so we did get chairs eventually.
That's better than MLG. Shit, we only get these, piece of crap metal chairs in the Pro Lounge. You guys get beanbags.
We had very nice beanbags, and we had free stuff. They gave out free drawstring bags or free downloadable Pokemon that you can only get there. It's an event one. It's not like MLG where everyone's just sort of hating on each other. It's like a friendly rivalry sort of thing, but everyone's friends with each other. I know a lot of the top players. I ended up running into one of the top players that I'm friends with. Played him in the top 32. He beat me. It's all in good sport. We always have a fun time, and I mean, even if you don't play Pokemon, it's still a fun event to go to. Me and Freedom were talking about Jerry. I think you'd have something to rant about the whole time.
You know what? If I started ranting at a Pokemon event, that would be the last event in the Northeast, I think.
No, there was this one guy who was very, very large, very bulky, and he had ripped underwear, and we could see his butt crack. And we said that's the first and only thing you would rant about, because you would follow this guy and you'd make sure that guy knew that you hated him with all your guts and you wanted him to somehow go away forever.
You know what? I probably would have just left. I would have taken one look at Rapture and been like, you know what? This crowd is not my crowd. This would not have worked for me.
It's actually better than the MLG crowd. There's actually not a lot of weird people there, as much as people think there are.
I don't know. You were there.
Yeah, you're there.
Oh, yeah.
You know the one thing that kind of really torques me and pisses me off? Part of me, after that last MLG event, was like, this really needs to go away. I don't know who this is catered to anymore, but this has had plenty of years to get it right, and now it's just stale bread. You tried something cool, and, nobody wanted to eat it, and there it sits. And then, as I was getting ready to, put out some news for the World Cyber Games and talk a little bit about, whose name came up again? Prodigy. And I can't, for the life of me, understand, outside of cool contacts and a look, is Prodigy good at any game? Justin, didn't you play him in Halo or some another ridiculous thing that a multi-genre gamer claims that they can play good at? Tell me, did you play him or not? Is that true?
Oh boy, I had a ball with this one. Yes. What happened was last week, I don't remember the exact day. I think it might have been Thursday. I'm sitting there, me and my teammate Icefane, also known as Adam, watching him stream Halo 3. Now, we're watching him play, and we're just laughing, because this kid doesn't know what he's doing. He's delusional when it comes to Halo. He went, 13 and 33, which is a negative 20 KD spread on Heretic Flag. Lower level 40s in MLG. That's horrible. What ended up happening was, my teammate went to bed. I'm sitting there, I'm watching his stream, and I see him start searching matchmaking. And he's searching MLG FFA. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to try, because he's right around my level. I went in, I searched. I noticed that, we're searching, we're getting the same amount of people at the right time. I go on instantly on the forums on the shout box. I'm like, you guys gotta tune into this. This is gonna be amazing. I told everyone I'm about to get locked in with him, and it happens. He ends up pulling host. He has some shitty yellow bar. Can't really do anything on connection. I end up.
Hold on. So he has a shitty connection?
He has horrible connection.
Doesn't he always
So
talk
bad.
about the fact that he's known and, well, can't he fucking afford good internet?
I don't know what this is, but we end up playing on this host. Every time I faced him in 1v1, he got dominated. It was bad. And like, I get my little tea bags in and stuff like that, and he knows that I mean business. I end up beating him by like, I think it was like 8 kills or something like that in the FFA on his shitty connection. I take first in the game. After that, I jump into his Justin TV stream, and then we start going at it. Huge argument progresses. I just told him he needs to stop promoting this pro gaming thing when he's terrible at games. He's like, well, I never said I was actually pro. It's other companies that do, like Microsoft and stuff like that. I'm like, well, your Twitter says you're a multi-genre pro gamer. That says you're pro. And I told him that if he wants, I can give him pro lessons. I'll charge him $60 so I can give that poor man his $60 back that he robbed. And then he just started getting all kinds of mad. Like, we started going at it. He was trying to tell me that he's not in it for competitiveness and stuff like that. He doesn't do tournaments. I said, well, how is it that you make so much money if you don't do tournaments? He's like, well, I do the marketing side. I'm trying to promote esports. I was like, well, you're doing a shitty job at it considering you suck at every game you play.
How to promote esports? I'm so sick and tired of even listening to like esports this, esports that. You ask the average American, they don't give a shit about esports is like laughable. That's like a subgenre of a subgenre. And especially when he's a he's like in his own world. Because who the heck in esports would consider what he does respectable esports? And who in the outside world would even care about esports? So either way, I don't see him fitting in anywhere, except for the fact that he was, on WCG Ultimate Gamer and that, he wore cool contacts, and that's about it. I just don't get it. Like, everybody that's ever played him in VVV has beaten him. And it's like, why is this person still around?
But hold on, though. It gets even better.
Uh-oh.
We kept going in the argument, and I'm just proving all these things that he's bad at. I issued him the challenge to play him in any game he wants at any time, and I would beat him. And he just said, well, that sounds like a good idea. And he never actually accepted it. For a while, he just stopped talking. He wouldn't say anything. From there, he found my Facebook, he found my Twitter, and he said, oh, look, this is the future of esports. All he could really do was try to insult the way, like, my looks or something like that, something outside of gaming. I said, okay, well, you can do that if
What's
you
wrong
want.
with the way you look?
I don't know. I guess it has something to do with how I play or something. I guess my looks must influence it, but I guess I'm not cool enough to wear those little contacts of his or something. I don't know. The kids
Your ass is ugly.
Yeah, supposedly. But the thing is, he's like, oh, I make all this money. Okay, well,
He makes
how?
all this money, but he can't afford a friggin' internet connection?
Yeah.
Look, getting flown to E3 and getting your hotel paid for, that may, like, impress some people, but that's not a living. Big friggin' deal. Every time I hear somebody, like, on a podcast or something, like, well, I'll go to an MLG event if Sundance pays for it. Like, then you're badass. You can come back home and tell all the other gamers, well, I don't pay to go to E3. Somebody paid for me. But that's not putting much money in your pocket. Like,
Well,
even if you got $5,000 to go to E3, what other work do you do? That's just like feeding crumbs to an egomaniac nerd who doesn't have any business sense. It just sort of goes to E3, and if he gets a free hotel and a free friggin' thing, he's like, oh, look at me, I'm at E3. Who the fuck cares? Like, really, who cares?
Well, I told him that he can't call himself a pro gamer when he doesn't even play. Like, I'm more into pro gaming than he is. Although I coach, I'm still a part of a professional team at a professional league. I'm contracted to that. He's like, well, I was on a TV show. I was like, yeah, you're on a TV show that not many people knew about at first, and not many people could attend for registration and, auditions. And you got lucky and got on it, and then you got shit on in the finals.
And he choked.
That's not something to be proud about. Other than that, you've never attended a freaking tournament. I've never seen you win. Yeah, you have some world records in Rock Band, but I've been told that they're pointless and that they're easy to attain. Like, that's not something to brag about.
Okay, no. The Rock Band world record that he obtained was a drum world record where he played through the entire game in one sitting to basically attain the highest consecutive score on drums. He basically went into red on half the songs that he played. Someone saw the score that he had, was like, oh, well, I'm actually a decent drummer, let me go do that. They ended up getting a couple million points higher than he obtained, like a ridiculous, blowing his score out of the water kind of thing. It's silly. The world records that he does have are silly.
How are they even world records if somebody else can do it, just because somebody stood there and watched them?
Exactly.
I mean, this is the kind of fluff right? This is exactly the kind of fluff that's out there. This has nothing to do with business or creating community or doing something positive, right? This is just pure fluff. It's someone trying to get attention, and it becomes an irritant.
But hold on.
Why is this person still around?
It gets even better. That's not even the best part. Okay, so on top of that, I challenged him again. I said, okay, well, if you think you're so much of a big shot, come to one of these events. I don't know what events he'll go to. I go to MLGs, so Raleigh would probably be the closest one to him. Tell him to come there. We'll sit on a feature stage. We'll duke it out in Halo 1v1. He didn't want to do that. I said, okay. And then he started talking about all these things that Empire Arcadia does. I sat there and ranted on every little thing Empire Arcadia does. They screw over people. They don't give any money to anybody. Triforce can't even afford to pay rent. Like, you can't brag about Empire Arcadia when they don't do anything. They can't even afford to pay their own bills, never mind other people's. Once I started saying that and saying how they don't do anything, he lost it. He just lost control. And he started nerd raging so bad. And it got to the point where he said, I hope I don't see you in person. And he started threatening me, saying that he would kick my ass and kill me and all this. I said, okay, if you want to ruin yourself that badly and go that low, go ahead. But other people would prove it in game. And that's what I told him. I shit on him in Halo. I will shit on him on any game at any time. And he didn't want to accept the challenge. He's lost to every VVV person, and he's even lost to coaches and everything. He's terrible. This guy needs to quit playing.
So yeah, if anybody knows Prodigy out there, tell him I said go fuck yourself. You don't impress me. You're shitty at all games. And when you actually do something good, please let us know. We'd love to have you on the podcast show so I could personally shit in your mouth and tell you how terrible you are. Matter of fact, speaking of shit in people's mouth, the whole fucking establishment needs a cleaning. From Major League Gaming on down. If you want to have competitive esports in this fucking world, you got to do something positive that grows community. Like when you have a LAN event, have fucking chairs. Save money on the red shoes, get chairs. The other thing you need, too, is you need to, stop with the history lessons. If I have one more person try to attempt to tell me, 10 years ago when Counter-Strike 1.6, who the fuck cares? You make it seem like you're so goddamn important. What the fuck did modern medicine do 10 years ago? We don't even talk about that, let alone your shitty Counter-Strike 1.6 clan. The bottom line is this whole thing needs a fucking enema. It needs to be cleaned the fuck out. I'm tired of the esports fucking crap. I'm tired of people calling themselves pro gamers. I'm tired of people trying to one-up everybody else with what they do. What was it, fucking DJ Weed on his Twitter? Lord Jarrett better watch who he's fucking with. What the fuck are you going to do? Say bad things about me? I don't operate by ego. I don't give a shit what people say about me. Go fuck yourself. Oh, you better give credit to what we did. I listened to that fucking Sundance interview, and all it was, DJ Wade, I wanted you to have a job. And there's fucking Slasher running around. Will you give me Quake Live? Will you give me Quake Live? And then fucking Sir Scoots trying to ask these difficult questions like, can I send an EG team without you contracting them from me? And this is esports? Come on, let's fucking call it out what it is. EG, that's not fucking competitive gaming. That's a fucking marketing company. We put together 4 or 5 kids, we get a couple other players who may have connections, and then we get their fucking connections to give us money so we can feed our Counter-Strike 1.6 team. But nobody fucking cares. Maybe in Europe, but certainly not here in North America. I mean, how many fucking organizations are there, and who the fuck pays attention to them? You know how I know that? Because every time I look at Esports Press, no matter how many negative kudos we get, VV Gaming usually gets 14 or 15 per every news item we put out there, and everybody else gets 2 or 3. That's how fucking small the esports community is. But you know what? Heaven forbid you critique it. What everybody wants is for people like, oh, you've been around, so fuck all that shit. Either do it or don't. They don't pay my bills. They don't do shit for me. I don't want to work with them. So I'm going to call out Prodigy for being a shitty gamer. I'm going to call out Empire Arcadia for not helping any of their players. You know what? I got an email from Empire Arcadia. This is how fucking stupid Triforce is. He sends me a fucking email. He CCs himself on it, and it's corporate at Empire Arcadia to Triforce or Game Master, whatever the fuck he is at Empire Arcadia. What, does he think that I think he has a legal team working for him? That's another fucking ridiculous thing. Then he says shit like, well, I'm going to sue Blight for the $500 they owe. No, you're fucking not. You can't pay your fucking rent. You go to your fucking throne room on Facebook and you have a powwow in which you quote on Facebook going to cut off all outside contact with the world. What the fuck is that? What planet do you live on?
No legitimate business anywhere operates like that. That's a person's delusion. So yeah, I'm going to fucking pick on Empire Arcadia because it's bullshit. This is just one person who has taken people that are dumber than him and sadly exploited them so he can live his delusional dream of being the emperor. And if that's somebody's idea of esports, it's not any better than fucking competitive wrestling. I mean, you gotta call it out what it is. I mean, the only smart thing I ever heard come out of Sundance mouth is we shouldn't have called it, professional. Yeah, you shouldn't have. Because a whole bunch of kids are running around trying to tell their mommy and daddy, I want to be a professional gamer. But there is no professional gamer, is there? And the reason there isn't a professional gamer is for what I said last week. Nobody spends time on the human capital, educating young people, helping them understand how to market themselves, helping teams understand what they need to do to stay together and work through problems. Nobody knows how to do that. Nobody invested any money in that. So yeah, when DJ Wheat says on his Jerry doesn't know, go fuck yourself. I'm not afraid of him. He could spend the next 7 shows saying shit about us or not saying shit about us. It doesn't matter. He's fucked either way. I'll call him out when I think his show is shitty. And I'll tell him when I think Sir Scoots hijacked his fucking show. And if that pisses him off and he says, I don't know what I'm talking about, go fuck yourself. You're the one who thinks Empire Arcadia is legitimate. Just go to fucking Triforce Facebook page. It doesn't take a lot of research. And Slasher's like a fucking yapping poodle. Everybody who ever fucking talks to him, he comes on with, well, you should know better when you talk to me because I'm a journalist. You're a fucking monkey. Go to fucking school. Get an education. Learn some real fucking skills. That's what you need to do. But this fucking happy horse that they sit in and they say, that doesn't work for me. So at the end of the day, no, I'm not afraid of the establishment. I'm not afraid of MLG, who's $42.5 million in debt. I'm not afraid of some 40-year-old guy who lives in Arizona that has this little marketing group called EG. No, I am irreverent of this fucking old guard, the people who put in a lot of time and we got burned. If you only knew how many times we had our hope dashed. Well, guess what? Hope doesn't fucking work that way. Business doesn't work that way. It works on fucking sweat, strategy, execution, measurement, and feedback. Business 101. So no, I'm not impressed. I know the bullshit lies. And I just call it out. That's it. This is what No Fluff is. This isn't a marketing show or a suck-up I want to try to get a job from you show. This is a fucking call it the way I see it. And guess what? If we are wrong, oh, I'm sorry, your Counter-Strike player does get $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. Woohoo, what a salary that is. My bad. I'll politely apologize. From the prodigies to the whole thing is a load of bullshit. And what somebody needs to do is actually get some thinking people together to figure out if you are going to have competitive gaming in North America. What is it going to look like? How do parents get involved? And here's a fucking free solution. Somebody is going to listen to my voice and is going to pull on DJ Weed or Sundance and go, Lloyd Jarrett talks shit about you. And then you're going to listen to this show. And here's my advice to you. If you want fucking gaming to work in North America, index it to education. Somehow, instead of just giving cash, try to work with universities and colleges. Try to figure out a way to give scholarships and things so that parents feel their children have an opportunity in education, even if they can't be a professional gamer. Now, that's going to require a little bit of work. Now, here's a way for you to start. Why don't you go to non-traditional sports schools? Don't go to Ohio State, but try art schools. Or maybe the obvious one, video game development schools. Try those schools that don't have traditional sports programs and see if they'd be interested in a competitive video game league. They travel to schools in their region, just like they do for sports. They set up for LAN, and they play for scholarships. That's going to take a lot of people to work with other people. And it's going to take some real investment because as it sits right now, to me, most of esports, it's just a bunch of fucking gamers who were too lazy to go to college or never wanted to fucking grow up and then somehow have deluded themselves into believing this is what they're going to do for the rest of their life. So instead of going to school or getting an education like any pro athlete would, they kind of hang out thinking, well, I'm trying to be a pro gamer, mom and dad. There is no pro gaming.
So Rapture, you sound a little bit better this week.
Yep, the mic's all working out so I can do the outro. Big shout out to the Gamers Garage for hosting the show, as always. Thanks to VV sponsors, Steelseries, Control Freak, MusicSkins.com, which has a ridiculous amount of skins for all your consoles, your music players, etc., and of course Custom Ink. I want to give a shout out to the VV community for the feedback and support. As always, you guys are always doing well with that. Be sure to stop over at thegamersgarage.com, where you can find out all the ways of how to follow us, including Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter. As always, listen to other great podcasts on the Gamers Garage, and you can leave us feedback by calling our voicemail at 206-350-7352 or at our email at themailbag@thegamersgarage.com. So always hit us up there. I want to give a shout out to everybody that had a great time at VGC, everyone who's been enjoying E3 and listening to the podcast.
Guys, make sure you check out www.devastationevent.com this weekend. Make sure you check out the live stream. I'll be there, and I'll have a full recap for you next week. Can't wait to share the details with you.
I'm going to give shout-outs to Jason, Jerry, and Dakota.
Aw.
As always.
I want to give a shout out to.
I'm Dakota.
What did you just say?
I said I'm Dakota. I felt special.
You know what you are? You're like
Dakota?
you're like somewhere between a raccoon and a small, tiny, overweight little animal that lumbers across the ground.
Wait, Jerry, did you just call him a Pokemon?
I think that's what I'm calling him. I think he
There's
wants
no
to be a
raccoon Pokemon.
I think he might actually be one of the next upcoming Pokemon characters for the next update. To be honest with you,
How awesome would that be, though?
they're going to
Go on.
call it a Dakota-san. It's going to be a little fat little thing that just going to rub its belly and
It's
burp
gonna
and
be
poo, and that's going to be the
They
way
already
this
have one
goes
of those.
around.
They already have one of those. It's from the 4th gen, Bibarel, and evolves into a normal and water type. It's not that really good, but it's text. That's pretty well.
Holy shit.
You've got so many problems.
On that
I'm
note,
going to tell everybody that I'm going to get out of here so I can get my sanity. All right, everybody, thanks a lot for listening to the show. I want to give shout-outs to the VV staff. Thank you for covering me this week when my internet was out. I also want to wish you, Jason, and everybody from VV that's traveling to Devastation a safe and fun trip. And I know I'll be seeing a lot of you on live tonight, and I look forward to it.
I still want to give shout-outs to my family, friends, my teammates, my girlfriend because she got mad that I didn't give her one last time. Everyone at VVV, staff and everyone, you guys are great, and good luck to everyone at Devastation.
thanks a bunch, guys. Take care. We'll see you next week.